How we doing, guys? Doing great. Doing great.
Been a busy week?
Been a busy week. Yeah, it has been. Haven't seen sunlight. This window right here, aside from practice, is the first time I've seen sunlight. But that's what we signed up for. So, but no, it's been a busy week. Obviously, a tough week in a lot of ways. Mixed emotions. You guys know how I feel about Frank Reich, about Marcus Brady. We've been through a lot of things in the last couple weeks, but on the flip side, an opportunity has been presented that, I'm ready to take by the horns and go with. So, like I said, mixed emotions, but I'm ready for the opportunity.
Why do you think Jeff Saturday picked you?
I can't really get into all that. I just know how I've prepared. I know where my mindset is. I know that we have a staff that I love and appreciate, and these guys have stepped up to the plate, and they're already helping me so much. We've got so many guys with such good experience. I think a lot of it was those guys have roles. My role doesn't, me stepping into this role allows everybody else to keep their same roles, and a lot of those processes stay in place, which I think is a big part of it. But for me, I'm confident in my abilities. I'm never going to say that I have all the answers because I don't think anybody has all the answers, and this is what I told the guys. I'm going to work my tail off, though, to find them, and that's all that I can do is say I'm going to give you my best, and that's what I bring to the table.
How many times have you thought about Sunday, like in your coaching life? Like, man, if I ever get to be a play caller, these are the things that I would.
Yeah, I think being brought up in football, the mentality of football players is next man up, right? And so when you're playing the game, you constantly go through and think, I got to be ready to go even though it's not my time. So I think in coaching, I think that's kind of been my approach. Whatever role I was in, when I was Frank's assistant, I was taking the approach of the job as if I'm a head coach, what would I do? When I'm the assistant quarterbacks coach, I'm watching Marcus and I'm watching Scott. What would I do if I was in this position? And then now, having worked closely with the play caller, obviously the last couple of years, and really just everything that I do, I'm saying, how do I want to do it? And I think that's a part of growth. I think that when you take the approach of doing that, then I think that, you're learning. Obviously, you don't get that experience of doing it, but when you take the approach of how would I do it and you put yourself in that position, it gives you the ability to be ready.
You've been on the sideline, right? Like on game days?
Yeah, last year I was on the sideline.
Will you be on the sideline to call plays?
I'm gonna be in the box. Yep, I've been in the box this year. And so I'm just gonna stay in the box. Feel like I can see from up there, have my stuff spread out. So I'm staying in the box.
Haven't called plays before, correct?
Not in the game. I've called. We've had walkthroughs that I've been able to call, split field walkthroughs. And I've gotten the opportunity to call some stuff in practice before. But obviously nothing like a game. But excited for the opportunity.
We know what Frank's style is. He was aggressive for the most part. What's your style? Not to give the details.
Yeah, aggressive, but in my own way. Aggressive can look a lot of different ways, right? It can be, you can run the ball and be aggressive, in your own way. And so I don't want to get into any details, obviously, competitively, but I just think I'm still an aggressive thinker in the way that I think, and I think that on the attack is our mission as an offense, and that doesn't change. But that can look different in a lot of different ways. So,
Mark, you've been around here for the last 4 or 5 years. What, in your mind, what's the cause of regression in the running game, and how close is it to where you need it to be?
I think that a lot of things go into that, right? And I think that our thing is we really want to say what are the things that have been giving us issues? What can we do to make our circle small, to really focus on what those things are, and then attack that up front and say, let's hone in on the details of what we have to do to make an effective run game. I don't want to go into all those details, obviously, but, it has been a struggle this year in a lot of ways, and we accept that as the reality, but we think that we have the ability to get back on track, and that's what we're going to try to do on Sunday.
Marks, being here since 2018, how does that full scope of seeing the offense evolve aid you in building out a game plan and then calling the plays on Sunday?
Yeah, being here, fifth year, 5 different quarterbacks, that's been a change every single year. And so we go through a lot of change, right? You get used to adjusting, adapting to your personnel. I've been in a lot of meetings, going back 5 years when Nick Sirianni was here with Marcus, I've been in a lot of meetings where we've sat in there and talked about how are we going to attack these guys specifically this week. How are we going to utilize our personnel that week to attack these guys? And so, having that many conversations over 5 years, and when you take the approach of, okay, I see how we're doing it. If I get my opportunity, how am I going to approach it? Then when you get your opportunity, you're ready to step up.
Mark, are you leading the offensive meetings right now?
We share those responsibilities. I have more right now than I've had, obviously, with my role. But even before, I had a portion of the game plan that I would install. But we spread it out, and that's how I've talked about. We have such a good staff. We have so many good dynamic teachers, speakers, that I think that it's important that everybody gets that voice out, right? And so we've continued to do it that way. Everybody has a portion that they say, they take pride in, they take ownership in, they present to the group. And I think as many times as we can get those guys in front of the room, just to keep it, from getting stale is good.
This is going to be Sam's third coordinator in 3 games. It's just a lot for a young quarterback. So what do you need to do to kind of get him in a kind of comfortable and confident space?
Yeah, I think that you play to his strengths, and then you do things to try to help him, again, don't want to go into a lot of the details for the reasons that I've spoken to before, but I think you just want to try to get him in rhythm early, right? You want to try to get him in rhythm, give him some confidence early. That way, he can get into the game, get a feel for the game, and then as you get into that flow, now you're in your subconscious thought. You're not thinking about what's going on. You're just kind of feeling it, and you're really, really executing. And that's really what we want to find our identity in, is execution.
You're not naive to the fact that this offense is struggling. The line is struggling, the run game, pass game. What's the spark? What do you need to find to spark this unit?
Yeah, to me, is our identity has to be in execution, and that comes from coaching, from playing, from installing it. What can we do to get better? What are our issues, and how can we make that better? In a lot of ways, you want to simplify, right? You want to say, hey, let's pick our best concepts, and let's be great at them. And let's accept the fact that, we're going to go into a game maybe with tightening our package down and say, hey, we want to just be great at these fundamentals and these details. He does, and I think that's something that I've taken along the way, but that's all of our philosophy, right? That's all the coaches on our staff believe that, and I think that that's something that especially when you're going through a struggle, you just hone it down and you execute the details, and then trust that we have the players that are going to get it done.
After getting named OC, play caller, any conversations with Frank after you've been named play caller? Any advice, anything from him?
Yeah, we've texted. We have not talked yet. My head has been down, and you guys know the hours that I've put in, and this week has been up there with some of the most. Back to the old in a lot of ways, which is great. I embrace that, and at the end of the day, we have a job to do, and that's what we're going to do. But we have texted. He's been extremely supportive, as he always has been. I look up to him in so many ways, as you guys know. He's a mentor, friend, and always will be. And so we've texted, and he's given me his support, given me a couple of pointers on things that, as a first-time play caller, emotions that you might feel, things to remember, things like that. So we have texted, but I have not talked on the phone with him.
Parks, up until recently, when you say it's a collaborative effort, it always is, but until recently it was, Marcus and Frank had to do the heaviest lifting. I don't know how to phrase it, but now does the buck stop with you? Somebody has to be the final,
Yeah, well, I think that, because I've been put in this position, part of the position comes with you're going to be the one calling the play. So I have to be comfortable with it. The quarterback has to be comfortable with it. And then we have to execute it and know that we're going to do it well. So I think that really evolves into all of us, making a decision on what plays really go on that game plan. But we work so well together as a staff, and it's already been such a collaborative process that we really all communicate and trust each other that we're going to put a good game plan together.